Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Kanisha Birikorang and welcome back to my channel. This is a hot one, guys. I didn't even know where to go with this because there was so much juice. But let's look at these videos and you leave your comments down below.
I know that you've said that you cannot teach a man or tell a man how to be a man. So I will not ask you to indict men in this question. But I do want you to speak, Iyanla, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Okay.
Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date him.
So of course, that particular clip got a lot of people talking. It got a lot of black men talking around the country, a lot of black men making response videos and making comments, because a lot of black men took umbrage with the fact that she doesn't want to date a man who is a bus driver. And for me, I don't take any umbrage with it because she's an attorney. She's worth a lot of money. It just would make sense that she wouldn't want to date somebody below her financial level. So that's for me. But
and will never be good enough for me.
So let me get this straight. One, you say being an average person is white supremacy. You sound like an idiot saying that. Secondly, you think your mop-headed ass isn't average? Usually when women put wigs on, they're meant to make them look better. So if you look this average with a wig on, imagine how you look without a damn wig on. And then you say with your own mouth that you've never had a man to protect you and you're 40?
I think I'm still relatively young, I guess, but I'm 40.
I think you got it. No, I think you got it. I think she got it as far as you can't be mad at Eboni for her preference. And I think that is what Eboni's overall conversation is, that she wants everybody to realize their full potential. You know what I mean? Once again, the only problem I have with it is the wording. You know what I mean? I don't think that the working class should be referred to as average, mediocre, or typical. And she said she didn't mean it in that way. She just using words.
And that was my problem. I just didn't. You know, she could prefer who she wants to date. She could date who wants, marry who she wants. But when I heard that, it just bothered me because I know where my parents started from. I know where I started from. And she cleared it up. She said she didn't mean it like that.
I did not graduate high school. I take care of my children.
Damn.
I am a night auditor, full time, and I do Uber to make my ends meet. So when Eboni says the things that she says, it's a downer, because you're saying that the little things that we do strive and do doesn't matter.
Nah, I get
and
it.
It's not right. Like,
I get it. The only thing I can say is, she said this morning that wasn't her intention. I don't. If you ever read her book, Bet on Black, I don't think that's her intention. I think she really does want to see, black people prosper. But I think we do have to be cognizant of other people's feelings, and we got to be cognizant of our language, because words definitely do matter.
Right. And I always want to say too that it's always open to have a conversation, right? Everybody doesn't have to agree with each other. I said some things out there that you guys out there don't agree with, and Charlamagne has said some things, but
I've never said anything people don't agree with.
That's a goddamn lie. But we should be able to have that conversation at any given point and be able to talk about it and shake hands and give each other hugs after. We should be able to.
Weezy and Mandy, y'all still here? Y'all know that, right? Just want to make sure.
Oh, I'm still thinking of. I'm here. I ain't gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. I have some probably unpopular takes, which is why I'm going to be quiet on a lot of things.
No, go ahead.
I just think even for the callers calling in, like, yes, you can try as hard as you can, but I do believe the partner that I have, the friends that I keep around me, I want them to strive to do more than what they are. So I do also have a problem with people that I feel are complacent in just accepting what they're doing and not striving for more. I do think it was said wrong. I think Ebony's delivery could have been much better. And I do think as individuals, once someone is condescending or once you feel attacked, that your ears are not open to listening to what all she's saying.
But why do you have a problem with people that feel complacent?
Oh, I just said I ain't dating them and they not my friends. I personally strove my hardest. I did AP courses. I went above and beyond. I could have got 1 bachelor's degree. Instead, I got 2. I'm one of those that continuously wants to climb. The people around me are that way. I personally don't want people around me that are complacent and not striving for more. Envy, you got 1 house, 2 houses, 3 houses. You wanted more. Like, you continuously want more for yourself. Charlamagne, you do the same. Weezy, as my partner, you do the same.
Right,
people around me, and I think in what she wants as a partner, it's okay to say, that's not good enough for me. It could be good enough for you.
Perspective. And, Ebony clarified, she didn't explain, but we had she went into detail saying that she wasn't speaking for all women, but she certainly understands how people perceive that because she was talking to the masses. But, the question was asked, would she date a bus driver? And like Charlamagne just pointed out, whatever you're asking of someone else, you should bring to the table. And many would classify Ebony as rich and successful. She's an attorney. She's a TV host. She's a celebrity. She makes a certain amount of income. She lives in New York. And she said that level of income would not be able to sustain her lifestyle. But she was not dissing bus drivers. Her mother was a bus driver. And I just want to say, from my perspective as a woman, every woman has a different stage in life where she looks for different things. When I was married, unfortunately, the marriage didn't work out, but I married a mechanic. I married a mechanic very young. We built together, just similar to Charlamagne and DJ Envy, how you built with your wives. But looking at Ebony, who's 39 years old, she's saying, she's looking for something different at that age. So love does matter. Sexual attraction, physical attraction, there's actually 5 attractions. But at the end of the day, women are looking for different things. And so when you're talking about having a family and trying to build, that changes. I've already had my child. I did the marriage. I did the whole thing. So what I look for may not be what Ebony looks for. And I don't think we should demonize people's individual choice. And I just want to say this, brothers, 39% of men, Black men, work in blue collar fields, and Black women date, marry, partner with Black men more than any other race. So we are dating Black men. We're marrying Black men. We're holding Black men down. Nobody holds Black men down more than a Black woman. So I don't want the conversation to be Black men, that's what's wrong. Black women don't want to date us, because that's just simply not true.
This was a lot of cape and a lot of cope. Let's be honest. This has moved the goalpost from, this specific situation when Dr. Vanzant asked her about her specifically to, all the stuff she was saying about white supremacy and she wants Black people to rise up. And that's why we have a low, basically putting us all down, saying that we're under the thumb of white supremacy. And that's why we don't achieve more. That's why we don't want better. And she's always an advocate for doing better and all of this BS. I mean, stop the cap. And then this kind of cope of like, she's allowed to have her preference and it's not all Black women. It's moved it away from the accountability that Ebony had the opportunity to take and really digest it and reflect on those things. Nothing is really truly holding fire to her. And I'm not saying she's a terrible person or anything like that, but this response is trifling. It just is. And it's illogical. Because every day women are, even in that interview, she had so much disdain, like for men. Even the questions was very disingenuous, and you can tell she had a goal that she was trying to get Dr. Vanzant to get to, but Dr. Vanzant wasn't having any of it. And instead of taking, once again, personal accountability for what she said, thinking about it, having conversations about it, it's about, she's got people defending her on things that have nothing to do with anything, and in deflecting. But let's continue.
I definitely would date a bus driver, like Iyanla said, as long as he's hardworking and he get up every morning and make sure he drives that bus well.
So you wouldn't have no problem with it? You're about your
I
love.
would have no problem with it as long as he's an honest man and that's what he does when he leaves the house and comes back home. Yes.
That's right.
Okay, first off, Eboni K. Williams is absolutely ridiculous. That comment, ridiculous. I'm so tired of the women out here trying to only date the 1% and leave all the other good working hard men out to dry. Like, there's no reason for her to say, you cannot date the bus driver because he doesn't own the bus. Does she own everything that she's in as far as, like, her prospective field? Is she the owner or is she a worker? Like, these men out here were hard workers. If just as long as we are coming home, we going to work, we honest living, standing by a woman, we love God, that's all that should matter with them. I don't understand about all this money, this 1%. And I'm flashy cars being taken care of, not want to do nothing for themselves.
I mean, you're making a good point. I mean, that was my number 2. Whatever you want in a mate, you should already be. So if you want a rich man or you want an owner, you better make sure you're rich and you're an owner yourself. Not talking about Eboni, but just talking about just people
But
in
let's
general.
talk about Eboni though, because he mentioned Eboni. She is rich though. So for him to say all of these women want things that they don't have, she does have that. So
but is she an owner, Eboni? I mean, Tez? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if she owns a bus. I don't think she owns a bus company. But she does. But see, this is what I'm saying, brother. That's listening. I hear it's almost like he feels personally attacked, and I just want to reiterate. Her personal preference is not an attack on you. There is somebody that loves you for you, but everybody has the right to want what they want. If I say I like tall men, or if somebody says I like thick women or skinny women, I don't get offended that you like something different other than me. I don't understand why people are so pressed by people's personal preference. She's not saying everybody should follow her lead.
Well, she did say that at first. We are being intellectually dishonest if we say that. The problem with that conversation is it went from generalization to preference
to personal.
The generalization again. No, the generalization to preference to generalization again. That was the problem with that whole conversation.
It's okay when I have a preference, it's okay. And the world should accept it no matter what it is. If I only want tall men, if I only want rich men, if you want tall, rich, and all of that, I mean, you're talking about 0.0. Only want rich men, if you want tall, rich, and all of that, I mean, you're talking about 0.0, whatever percentages. We're not even dealing with the actual 1%. So when we have all these standards, and women can talk about these things, say these things, even though they're not getting the results they want, they will hold on to these preferences. And generally, as we get older, we raise up the bar because we've been through trauma, we've been through this, that, and the other, and we feel like we've been through so much. I now earned this. I earned this because I have an education. I've earned this because I've been dealing with no good men my whole life, and now I'm ready to rest in my feminine and have this certain lifestyle. That's the thing. My lifestyle is so important. And women can say these things unchecked, right? But if men talk about their preferences, women go crazy. Women, it's a backlash. It is a complete backlash against men for having any kind of preference. And they should just accept women as they are, because they're just so lucky to be in the presence of a woman and that a woman actually wants them. That's the narrative. And that's why I said this is cope that this woman is saying right here. And this is nothing against